Before we embark on a long discussion of negative numbers, we should consider the question, why have we got negative numbers? And the answer comes down to a problem that we have with subtraction. So what's subtraction? So we know that 5 minus 3 equals 2. We might even think of that as related to the fact that 3 plus 2 equals 5. We can understand the question, what is 5 minus 3, as being the same question as 3 plus what equals 5. And these questions are pretty easy to answer, as long as the bigger number comes first. Furthermore, these sorts of questions actually make sense in real life. Questions of the form 3 plus what equals 5 are natural questions to ask. The question 3 plus what equals 5 could be the question, I just put $3 in the bank and now my balance is $5. What was it before? But then there are some of these questions that seem to not have answers. What if we wanted to think about 3 minus 5? So the question, 3 minus 5 equals what, is the same question as 5 plus what equals 3. None of the numbers that we have right now are capable of answering this question. Okay, so maybe it's just a question that doesn't have an answer. Why do we need to make things complicated? Well, take a look at this, right? If I'm imagining subtraction on a number line, I can imagine 5 minus 3 as the distance from 3 to 5. So I start at 3, and I end up at 5. The distance from 3 to 5, this is 5 minus 3. But I can draw that same picture for 5 minus 3. But I can really draw this same picture for 3 minus 5. I can imagine 3 minus 5 as the distance from 5 back to 3. Notice that those look almost the same. 5 minus 3 is 2, and that makes sense because this is 2 units long. This is also 2 units long, but it's backwards. This is 2, but backwards. This is a thing. We can see what it is. It makes sense on a number line. It makes sense when we're thinking about our bank account, right? If we deposit $5 in the bank, and now our balance is $3, we were overdrawn by $2. But none of the numbers we have right now describe it. Our solution is to get some new numbers. And we call these new numbers the negative numbers. We should understand the number -2, which you'll notice we denote by writing this minus sign in front of 2. It's the same sign as we use for subtraction, but we're understanding it to mean a different thing. We're understanding it as part of this number. We should understand -2 as meaning just 2, but backwards. So there are a lot of things that are backward when we think about the negative numbers. That's not a coincidence. The negative numbers are the positive numbers, but backward.